Bunge Towers is a scam. It's the scam of the century.
But still,
can you imagine 9.6 billion Kenya shillings and still you are sharing an office with another parliamentarian? You don't, ukikuja kuniona, hakuna waiting place armed. Those who are armed.
Yes.
So if there's a place where a member of parliament is the most vulnerable,
hapo Bunge Towers.
ni Bunge Towers. Hapo ndo unaweza
But see, awenyo ingiagi, lakini sio ingia nakana.
The staff members have been threatened.
Yes.
Completely. By the way, James and Joseph, they were poisoned.
Yeah.
When this guy illegally stopped my salary, before I was even removed, I sent to Wetang'ula. He blue-ticked me. Alafu anatembea huku nje akiambia watu huyo mama ni mwenda wazimu. You remember? Vitu zilikuwa zinachoma, but it wasn't kuchoma. People were now just taking advantage of the situation.
Pia add evidence.
So now, exactly. So now what was happening?
Kuna moto City Hall.
Instead of kulikuwa na unajua ulikuwa unajiuliza. He was arrested because apparently he was seen tampering with the CCTV of Parliament. That guy was not tampering with the CCTV of Parliament. The story goes, allegedly, watu wa 10.5 million.
MPs are being evacuated. This should be a government project. They should be like a special branch.
No, that's where I was explaining to you. The way Bunge Parliament runs, Parliamentary Service Commission gets a budget. You see this budget for financial year ya every parastatal and everyone hadi ministries na nini. Pia kuna budget ya parliament.
Yes.
Na hiyo budget inaketa everything. Itaketa projects, itaketa salaries, inaketa traveling allowances. Yani parliament inakuja inasema, sisi for this financial year, we need, let's say, 70 billion Kenya shillings. Then, once that money comes to parliament as a whole, as Parliamentary Service Commission,
yes,
then in that commission, there is the Senate, there is the National Assembly, and then there's a thing called joint services.
The middleman.
The fake thing. It is an illegal thing. Now that joint services, what it does, that joint services, iyo imemandatiwa kufanya projects. What they are calling projects ni kama, for instance, sijui tuna change sound system ya Bunge Towers, kitu kama hiyo. Unanielewa? Yani wana creating mavitu alafu sasa au wanapewa kazi. But sasa Senate pia iko na budget yake, na kwa budget ya Senate iko na vitu zingine zenye, for instance, Senate inaweza kununua viti mpya za lounge. Hiyo si ya joint services, hiyo under Senate. So unanipata? So Bunge Towers, why I was explaining this is so that you understand. The media did an expose when we were just about to launch Bunge Towers. The media did an expose showing that in fact the building is not complete. And they were talking about tumemaliza 9.6 billion and the building is complete.
Yes.
So, and then also we have come from 5.8 to 9.6 billion. And the president was coming to launch it.
Yes.
So media got wind that this thing is not complete. Hata mkikuja hapa mtajionea haijaisha. So media and journalists are very proactive. They found their way into the Bunge Towers.
Yes.
And they were able to showcase. If you see the Citizen TV story and the NTV story, unaona wanaonyesha all the things that they found. Even they found substandard work. They found a lot of crazy things in there. Now, these two gentlemen, Joseph and James, happened to be on duty.
Oh, each time was immediately.
These are security officers.
Oh, okay.
Of Parliament. They happened to be on duty.
Yes.
These two gentlemen happened to be on duty when the journalist did the story. And when people were talking to the media. So, what happened is there was a big panic. This was a big panic from all the big shots of Parliament.
Yes.
And I've told you, when I say big shots of Parliament,
PSC.
Parliamentary Service Commission, there's a chairman. You know, the chairman of the Parliamentary Service Commission is the Speaker of the National Assembly.
Oh, that's now Wetang'ula. Yes.
Is the chairman. The secretary of the commission is Jeremiah Nyegenye, who he also doubles up as the clerk of the Senate. He's the secretary to the commission. And then you have commissioners who we choose. Like now we have 2 commissioners from the Senate, and then we have some commissioners from the National Assembly. Sasa hao wanafaa ku represent the interests of the members because it's a commission. but unajua most of the time wakifika huko wanakulwa na cartel, wana represent interest zao. So now what happened, they panicked because that time the media was showing that hata hiyo 9.6 billion yenye mmaliza
bado chapata good product.
Yes.
nyumba. So there was that angle. There was also an angle of why did it take this long and who are the beneficiaries of this prolonged construction.
Yes.
So the big shots of parliament waka panic like, we need to showcase, give an example. We need to make an example of someone so that anyone who's sitting in an office with information should not dare even share the information as to which contractor is being paid, how that contractor is connected to who in the commission, nini. So walipanic tu, ikitu ikiendelea hivi na tusipopunish mtu, other people will come out now with the real information. So Joseph and James happen to be security officers. I'm sorry to say this, but the lowest in the chain of events at this moment. So what happened is immediately they were called in, and then they were...
So this is immediately after the report, after the
yeah,
expose.
so on the exposure, alafu wakaitwa, then wakapewa mabarua za show cause. So you know, in a workplace, show cause letter is basically kuja ujieleze. Enda useme, there's an allegation here, kuja ujieleze. But the same day wamepatiwa barua ya show cause, ya enda ujieleze kama ni ukweli ama si uongo, pia wakapewa barua za kuwa interdict, za basically uko suspended. Which even according to the HR practices, siwezi kakupatia barua ya show cause leo, unafaa uende useme oh my god uweke kesi pamoja, kuja reply useme mimi sikufanya nini. Before hata uja reply umesuspendiwa. Reason being that they were considered a threat to now the privilege information that is in parliament. What they are calling the privilege information is like hao watu wanaweza kuanika vitu nyingi, so wakasuspendiwa, wakaambiwa hand over your nini vitu za office nini tokeni. That was in April 8th of April.
Yes.
Oh, that's 4 days. That's 4 days after the launch.
2024.
Okay.
Even Nation TV ran a story saying kuna hao watu wamevutwa ati wameekelewa, hao ndio walienda kuambia journalist, again an issue of whistleblowing. But the worst thing about this is that they actually didn't do it. But the powers that be were threatened. They walikuwa nasikia rumors za watu wanataka kulipwa hiki tuambie Kenyans how pesa imekulwa. And by the way, if you go and listen, I will try and even send you some of the clips. I personally was speaking about Bunge Towers before we launched it. How there's a security, there are many security lapses, how some offices don't even have windows, munakaa ni kama munakaa kwa store, how nini. Mimi as an architect, I was so surprised on my floor where my office is. Kuna mlango ulikuwa unafungua, it leads to nowhere. It's a door, you open the door and there's a wall. Damn. As an architect, you know what that means? Kuna contractor alikuwa anataka kuleta milango China. So milango zikaekwa kila mahali. Can you imagine a door you open, there's no room? So maybe you wanted to supply 75,000 doors. Na sasa milango za hii
you must
ni kama
look for a space to fit it.
Milango, if I'm lying, by the way, honestly speaking, there are doors you open, they don't even lead to service ducts or whatever. Unafungua uko like nini? There's no room here. There's nothing. Why is there a door here? Complete with a lock and keys. So it was about making money on supplies, on contracts, on the construction, on variations of timings and delivery. Because also, background construction, when there's a variation in timing, there's some penalties. Nini? Yani kuna vitu nyingi. Yani kanga tu kijua, construction ikidelay, pesa tu inakuliwa.
Yes.
So now, these two guys happened to be on duty when the journalists did the story. Wakasingoliatiwa, wakatagetiwa, and they were supposed to be they were being used to make an example for the rest of the security officers who thought that they would even gather the courage to speak to anyone or show anyone all the illegalities and the corruption that was going on. Here's the funny story, and I want you to see a trend, and this trend is being practiced by the accounting officer. I can say this outrightly. Unaonyesha tu kakichwa hivi ati wewe mimi msinitumie, mimi sitaki kufanya corruption, me I want to be part of your thing, me I'm not going to sleep with you, mimi msiniingize hizo vipindi. Show cause letter. Before you know it, suspension. And then the suspensions are not normal suspensions. these people, their suspension was supposed to facilitate the investigations of their disciplinary. That should take 90 days. It took almost 2 years. As we speak, wako nje.
Kitu nataka kuuliza, kwani hatukuwa tunajua se? Like we know about so many people, but history ya ni Joseph Gusino na James Murioki.
Kuna journalist
imekuwa chini ya maji.
Kuna journalist mwenye alipelekea NTV story.
Yes.
My friend wa journalist hata pale yuko saizi sijui. Wacha nikwambie, hiyo ndo nimeshinda nikiwaambia, the journalists, they are doing their jobs. It's not the journalists with the problem.
It's the editors.
It's the...
Ikifika kwa newsroom inazimwa kwa sababu newsroom ako on payroll. Huyo editor ako on payroll. So NTV actually did a story, wakaichungulia kidogo and then ikazimwa everywhere. Ikazimwa. Yeah. Na unajua wanazimaje? Very simple. Wewe uko na ile pesa, zile pesa ndakuambia. In fact, we need a series of parliament.
The money that I will tell you that is
spent in parliament for all sorts of craziness. Who is there? We only have in Senate, we have one accounting officer.
Yeah.
Then that's the clerk of the Senate.
Because kuna hii transcript. Cheki, kuna hii transcript, yes? So the transcript ilikuwa, saa shida ni yule sijui majina, but ilikuwa like, what's been going on here? I'm being undermined by these two officers. Hii sasa ni Mugino na ni mgeni.
Sasa tuwacha before useme hii. Sasa hawa si wakafukuzwa wakaenda.
Yes.
Then I think they started realizing through my cases, because I have cases in labor, wakaanza kuona hatuwezi kukua tu hiki tu inaweza kuja tu itu nini. Wakaitwa wakaambiwa atirudini kazini.
Okay.
Wakaambiwa atisikiza, and this was way beyond 90 days, way beyond all the illegal things have been done in terms of labor, of labor rights and employee rights.
Yeah.
So wakaanza kuona hiki tu ni ngori, because I took the clerk, I have sued him about that thing where he stopped my salary. Likatu chini akasema amenikasirikia akaniachisha salary yangu. So I went to labor court. So I think my thinking of it is when they started seeing, oh my god, some people are taking action, it pia itakuja hii ituchome. Wakaitwa, wakaambiwa by the way kujeni, lakini kesi yenu bado hatujamaliza kuinvestigate. Lakini rudini, so mkaange mkijua tujamaliza kuinvestigate, lakini murudi. Now, when they came back on that week, they came back. These guys, they are security officers. They report to the director of security.
Yes.
Some guy, bully guy. Yani, kama singekuwa mheshimiwa ningesema tu mtu bloody fucking. There's a guy who is just a bully. He's the director of security. He's called Majimbo.
Yes.
So that is their boss.
Yes.
So when these people came back, now again my whistleblower protection bill Majiba would have protected these guys, because when you whistleblow, the first thing that happens, your bosses start becoming hostile. So when waliambiwa aburudini ilianza kukani kama kuna mtu anaenda I think they thought I knew about the in-depth of it. By that time sikuwa nimepata story kabisa.
Yes.
So wakawarudisha haraka, kujeni job. When you walirudi, they are met with this bully in the name of the director of security, because he is a bully.
Yeah.
And he then goes ahead to call all the staff, the security personnel. And with these guys are there. And then he gives these two guys a dress down. A proper dress down. Sinimekutumia kitu umeona.
Yeah.
He gives
so
them
kile nashindwa.
Pata ukisoma transcript unaona kuna pata anasema I am scale 15. Nyinyi mnanijua nini? Yani ile kitu ya intimidation and fear. Alafu he goes ahead to tell the whole team how watu wawili, huyu Joseph na James, are as good as useless. No one should take any kind of instructions or whatever from them. That is now the workplace. These people are supposed to come back as supervisors. Mkubwa wako ashaambia watu wako chini yako, hata hawa msiwasikize. Hiyo ni job gani? Umerudi.
So, kile nataka ku understand ni what did Majiba want akina Mugeni to do? Alikuwa anataka wa stop the journalists from
in showing. The audio you hear Majiba saying, sisi tunajaribu kutengeneza alafu munaanza something like kuchafua. Yani basically you are
telling... by any chance kuna hapa?
Nitakuforwardia hiyo audio.
Kicheza tu kidogo hapa kwa nini?
Okay, just listen.
Being undermined by these two officers. Wamevuruga hii directorate, left, right, center. Every time tunapoesha moto. Sasa imefika wakati kila mtu afanye chenye anajua vizuri better. So from now henceforth, don't take any instructions from the beginning, and I'm saying this openly so that it can be understood. I am the director in charge of this director. Na mtu hawezi kuwa anakaa in my directorate kufanya vitu ambazo za kulijiba. So I want that to be very clear. And from now this there is not going to be in charge of Bunge Tower, and again is not going to be in charge of Parliament. Going to give very clear instructions to us that because kama mtu ameamua kupigana vita na mimi kia yangu amechamachiba and I'm the director of this. In fact, this director na nimepatiwa na hii commission. The commission sat and saw me working from the time I reported here at scale 12 mpaka says I'm at scale 15, and nobody who is here can challenge that because it is something that was given to me by right. Na siwezi kuwa mimi nakaa, you are getting very bad influence from the same people. Mpaka inafika to an extent that now it's open war. So let us fight a war. And I'm telling you openly, let us fight a war, bring it up. Come baby. Give me the scale for 15. I have been scale 15. And I was given scale 15 because of my capacity. Let's go scale 8. So get out of this place. I don't want to see you dealing with these waters, and I'm going to instruct the policemen as well and wait for my deployment then. The two of you. Follow me and then go past.
Okay.
So what's a scale 15? Scale ni like rank or something.
Yeah, sasa basically anawambia ni venye neza ambia mi ni senator, mnajua mi ni nani hivyo. And this is when they've just now been told to come back to work. And why were they told to come back to work? Someone started telling them, you know, I went to labor court. Acha nikuambie kitu imefanyika. Hizi vitu zenye zimenifanyikia. Let me tell you, I've liberated so many staff members. Because now, ushaika mahali umenyanyaswa na unajua there's nothing you can do. And then you start seeing, actually, there's something I can do. Actually, I can take these people to labor court. Actually, we can. So when they started realizing, oh, watu wanaanza kujanjaruka, ndo walirudishwa. Otherwise, they had their suspension was way beyond the normal HR Nini, whatever's. And then if you look at the process, there are some documents when you're told, ukona kesi ya kukuja kujibu. There's some documents which you ask for. Because nani amekwambia ukona kesi? Apparently, there's a committee that sat and decided James and Joseph are guilty of something.
Yes.
And when they sat, they deliberated before they decided. So if you're coming to answer to a case that committee or whatever decided, the first thing is, can they give you the minutes so that you even know, because there's no complainant. The complainant is the committee. So you even know how it came about they decided you are guilty so that you can prepare a defense. Guess who is the custodian of anything, even minutes? He's the clerk of the Senate.
Okay.
Because he is the custodian of the... So wakanyimwa hizo vitu. The same thing happened to me. When, for me, in my suspension, there's no complainant. I didn't fight with anyone in parliament the way you've seen people fighting. Then there's a complainant, alafu muna suspendiwa nini. There was no complainant. The complainant was apparently a committee that sat. Till today, there is no existence of minutes of that committee or who even sat in that committee.
Okay.
Because there's no committee. The clerk decided, wrote, he has been in there so many years, 11 plus years, he knows how to need the whatever. So the same thing may happen here, the directors, the people above, they know how to work the system in their favor. So when they asked for the minutes of that particular meeting that found that there is a problem, there are no minutes, there's no record of the same, but somehow they are now in a disciplinary motion.
Rewind kidogo because nataka to understand hii kitu. So I want us to talk about two things. First of all, the Parliamentary Service Commission.
Yes.
Na pia nataka tubongejia security at Bunge Towers. But before tubongejia PSC, wacha tuanze na hii security. If right now, mimi ni Mwafrika, iko nini? I go to Bunge Towers. What are the security process? Ndio niingie, mpaka niweze kufilm. Because I want to see how culpable akina mgeni are. Because I'm assuming it's not only 2 officers in that whole building.
No.
So nikifika kwa gate, who am I finding at the gate?
First, there are layers of security. That's another thing that no one has ever understood. You have a group of people called sergeant at arms.
Yes.
Those people have been trained to deal with VIPs. They've been trained on how parliament procedures work. So those people are the ones who know how to guide VIPs.
Okay.
That's one level of security. Then we have a private security contractor on top of that. The private security contractor is now security officers who all these people, their mandates, they have the same mandate. It is just that kuna mtu lazima pewe contract.
Yes.
So there's a private security also that has security officers that do the same thing that the sergeant at arms do.
Yes.
Now on top of that, we have GSU.
Okay.
That's more often than not are there.
Okay.
Then sometimes we have APs who come from that
So
station that is there.
kwa gate unapata GSU.
Unapata kila mtu. Kila
Yes.
mtu ako kwa
Oh,
gate.
they all there.
Lakini
Na hata issue yenye acha nikwambie issue yenye iko na hata clarity imekuja hapa towards the end. Issue yenye iko when Bunge Towers came, all the security personnel fought for it. The sergeant at arms wanted to be in charge. The private security wanted to be in charge. The GSU and whatever wanted to be in charge. By the way, when we were entering the building, NYS was there also. Yeah, NYS, GSU. Kulikuwa na yani unafikanga hapo unashangata unaanzaje. So there was before it took almost more than 6 months after we entered Bunge Towers for that whole issue of security to be sorted. When we entered Bunge Towers, even we as members of parliament, you never used to know who we are dealing with. By the way, can I tell you this? People like Akina Mandago fought security. Because unafika Bunge Towers, kuna private security nataka kukwambia vitu, GSU wako hapo pia hao wamejikuja. They were all fighting for that gig. The sergeant at arms are also, so there was often so much confusion and chaos. This guy, when the Citizen TV feature was, when the Citizen TV feature was running, it was the same. Everyone was there. NYS including was part of the team.
So wezi blame hao ile.
In fact, hata unafaa uanzie who has the mandate. Mpaka leo Bunge Towers hiyo moja enye saizi wiko at least hii imekuwa streamlined, they've been able to separate some dockets. You know, like kwa mlango kuna watu utapata ukipita na ukimalizana na hao mbele utapata you know, they've tried but still even now there's confusion. How you know there's confusion? When Gen Z broke into parliament, who was the person in charge? Who was the one commanding security?
Sijui nilikuwa.
By the way, just as I digress kidogo before nirudi kwa Joseph na James wenye wamevutwa illegally because tu kuna mtu alikuwa amepanic vitu zake zinaanza kufika mwisho. When Gen Z happened, one of the things that I kept on saying was very strange. We normally have bodyguards as MPs.
Yes.
When we were assigned offices in Bunge Towers, some of us really complained about the structure of how things are running.
Yes.
Saa zingine ulikuwa unafika Bunge Towers hapo kwa entrance, I swear to God unapata watu kama 200. Ukiingia ndani kwa lift, munasukumana kwa lift, hata ujui ni akina nani hao because it's a public building. Because there are so many offices, everyone has visitors, there are people, there's staff members, there's what you understand.
Yes.
So one day, there's an incident I don't want to discuss here that happened that actually threatened milioni nilikuwa nimetumiwa mtu. By the way, na si ati naongea juju. Unajua MCA, kuna huyu MCA wa Kisii aliyekuwa tu daga mara 2 na akakufa. You understand? So I brought that thing in the floor of the house and I'm like, I'm sorry guys, but we have a security breach. Yes. Because we don't know, we can't restrict the people coming into Bunge Towers, but we also don't know who the Bunge Tower, the people we are around, especially kwa lift na corridor. So mimi nikasema, alafu on top of that, something very peculiar. All our bodyguards were not allowed to enter Bunge Towers. They're still not allowed to enter. We leave our bodyguards outside. Now that time is when I was fighting kabisa na clerk wa Senate. Actually it's around that time pia alikuwa ameanza kung'ang'ana ku make sure sijui nitatolewa msharanga. So I was feeling like, unajua hiyo ni space yake. Hiyo hapo ndio everything ana run show huko. So mimi nilikuwa mbona mnakata niingie na bodyguard wangu. So bodyguards are not allowed to enter. Bodyguards stay outside. But somehow,
outside wapi sasa?
Nje ya Bunge Towers.
So outside like uingia ta through gate.
Wewe ukiingia Bunge Towers bodyguards wote wanakwanga nje.
So nje ya gate unasema.
Si huko kwa parking. Wanakwanga kwa parking. And that's why I'm saying kuna vitu zingine nitaongea hapa, hata kuna watu kama wako na ngori na ma MP. Sasa ni kama ninawapatia form. Msichukue hiyo form. So bodyguards wanakwanga nje. You're also not allowed to enter armed. Those who are armed.
Yes.
So if there's a place where a member of parliament is the most vulnerable,
hapo Bunge Towers.
Ni Bunge Towers. Hapo ndo unaweza mdunga kisu.
Hapo ndo unaweza mchapa magumi. Awenyewe ingiagi lakini sio wengine nakana.
yeah,
Because kuna mp kuna mp asha kujaga hapa iko
labda ukwe kichwa ngumu. Kuna kama mimi nilifika mahali niko kichwa ngumu, I was like hapa mnataka kunimaliza na sitakufia hapa. Ilibidi nikwe kichwa ngumu ndio upite na weapon ama mtu ako na weapon.
Yani uko unatembea na mguu wa kuku?
No, mimi sinanga gun. I'm not a licensed gun holder. But ilifika mahali nilieka kichwa na nikapita na bodyguard wangu.
Okay.
Because I was like, you guys munanipangia njama na nimewaona. Because something happened. I can't talk about it, but something happened and we sat
Maybe
down.
next series.
We did a postmortem. No, that one I can't. We did a postmortem and we were like, tulitumiwa mtu. So when I even raised it in chambers. I raised it in chambers and I said, guys, you guys can't, you honestly amwezi ona ati kitu ni normal. Mbona sa bodyguards wote mwenye wako na mabunduki wote na wote wako huko nje. Then sisi tuko huko ndani na huko ndani ndio all your meetings happen, everyone comes to see, it's your office. That's where hata unaambia constituency yako, base yako ikuje nini whatever. And then remember in there we have we, as politicians we are not friends. So let's say for instance if I'm nominated and I'm vying for the person who's sitting, si hapo ndani yani there's a lot of dynamics, political dynamics happening. But even within as colleagues we have our own beefs to fight hapo ndani. So kuna vitu nyingi ufanyika huko ndani. So now when I raised it in parliament, and I even said we need to get a motion to discuss all the negatives and even the money that has been stolen and all the things that are happening. There are so many wrong things with Bunge Towers. Ilikataliwa. I wrote even a statement to say we need to even discuss about the ongoing construction. We need to even discuss. Now wakasema nini? Those matters cannot be discussed in chambers. Now, wewe unasema vulnerability. Sisi wenyewe tulikuwa tushaongea juu hiyo story. Me personally nilikuwa nimeongea, Cherargei aliongea juu story. Cherargei raised it so many times about how money is being channeled. But now I want to tell you, for 14 years, or is it whatever number of years?
Yeah, it's 14 years because ngoja tu kidogo niangalie the stats. So ilikuwa the construction position. Yes. Nataka tuende step by step.
So
the construction of Bunge Towers began in 2010.
2010.
The project was initiated by the Parliamentary Service Commission to provide office space for members of parliament. Yes. So with the initial concept and planning started around 2009-2010, the actual on-site construction work by the main contractor, China Jiangxi Construction Company, commenced in March 2014. So the project experienced significant delays, extending the construction period to 14 years. So now, but when I was telling you I want us to go step by step, I want us to go back to the Parliamentary Service Commission. So some of the Parliamentary Service Commission is made up of the Speaker.
Yes. The chair of the Parliamentary Service Commission
is the
Speaker of the National Assembly.
So
not the Speaker
2010,
of the National Assembly.
2010 the Speaker alikuwa nani? Because anataka tuende step by step. I don't want us to...
Thank you. So that's even a good way to do it. So go and look at the Speaker for, okay, I might not know them offhand, but look at the Speaker for 2010. Then you come, but forget the
yes, because nataka kuona place huyu mwingine anaingia, the clerk wa Senate anaingia.
So always the secretary to the commission is the clerk of the Senate.
Yes. So
and before the clerk of the Senate was the clerk of the Senate, he was the only clerk. The clerk of the National Assembly came after. There was only one accounting officer. Umenelewa? Kama kuna mtu akona institutional memory, ni hiyo ofisi ya the clerk of the Senate.
So 2010 ikianza
walitengeneza bicameral parliament.
So nauliza, so 2010 ikianza, the only constant person ni huyu mmoja alikuwa 2010 alikuwa tayari huo clerk of the Senate.
Enda uconfirm, asikuje kunipatia ma 10.5 million zake hapa.
Ian unaweza check your story.
Like enda uconfirm. Kitu yenye nataka uconfirm, every single time when there's a supplementary budget coming out,
yes,
who are the people? You know, I'm not here to say he's the one who approves construction or whatever. I am just saying he's the clerk he's the secretary to the Parliamentary Service Commission. Now you need to find out how long he has been there, because he has been there more than 10 years.
Yes. Because nataka kuenda tu
he has been there since we had akina Amos wako guys na nini those days. Just go do your history.
So 2010 speaker alikuwa Kenneth Marende. Then of course 2013 came JB Mturi. Yes. So JB Mturi, by the time construction inaanza, Mturi is the speaker.
And one thing you must know about JB Mturi, JB Mturi tried to blow the whistle so many times about the ill goings or the corruption that is happening with accounting officers and parliament and everything, to an extent that JB Muturi invited EACC to parliament to do investigations. JB Muturi, in his book, he even writes the corruption in his book. He outlines the corruption in parliament. And then people were saying, oh, he can now write a book. When he was there, he didn't do nothing. No. When he was there, he blew the whistle. And he was really fighting a lot with the clerk of the Senate. A lot. Because that time, Parliamentary Service Commission still, the clerk played a very key role. But that's not to say that this thing is the clerk of the Senate. What I want you guys to understand is, I'm giving you the corruption and the injustices that are being met by people who even appear to speak up against the corruption. And you understand why Parliament cannot be the institution that plays oversight to other institutions, and yet Parliament itself is
corrupt
and completely captured. So we were having an argument with someone because they said, oh, all these accounting officers, they report to someone. They have authorities they report to.
Yes.
But who do the accounting officers in Parliament report to? They report to PSC. And who is the authority in PSC?
Okay, so tuko tunabonga juu ya PSC. So PSC tumesema ni chairman na kuaga the speaker of the National Assembly. So that one has changed 3 times. So ilianza na Marende, tukatoka Marende tukaenda JB Muturi for 10 years. Tukatoka kwa JB Muturi sasa tumeenda kwa Wetang'ula. Si ndio? So
and JB Muturi was the Speaker of the National Assembly, but he had a lot of fights with the clerk of the Senate. Not because he was in the Senate, because they were fighting from the commission perspective.
Yes.
Umelewa? The fights were because the clerk of the Senate is the secretary to the commission. And the secretary to the commission runs a lot of things. He has a lot of power and a lot of influence.
Yes.
Yeah. So JB Muturi, as he was the Speaker of the National Assembly, his wars were with the clerk of the Senate.
Okay. So hii budget inatoka from 5.89 billion ends up at 9.6 billion. So let's say 5.9 to 9.6. Sindio? So we're talking about around, is it 3.7 billion?
And the building is still not complete to date.
Haijaisha mpaka saizi.
To date. But you can't see, because can you enter? You can't enter. And if you can enter, you're restricted to where you can access. Hata nikitoka huko, jikoni haikukuwa imemalizwa. Na mimi hii venye nimefukuzwa juzi tu, the last time I was in Bunge Towers, jikoni haikuwa imeisha.
But sasa nini kitu nauliza, that's why tunaenda.
So na tumeshamaliza 9.6 billion.
Yes. So 9.6 billion tumenini, but we approve 5.9. So 3.7, who approves it? Like every time kuna delay, who approves this money?
First, if their commission has to approve.
You're the same PSC. So far tukibonga jua 9.6 hatujamaliza. So by the time wanamaliza kuapprove inaweza kuwa imefika hata 12 billion.
So saizi budgets zenye unaona zinaletwa haziletwi in terms of construction, zinaletwa in terms of renovations and adjustments.
And it's actually
utaona construction, utaona renovations, adjustments, upgrade, kitu kama hiyo. But really kuna places hazijaisha.
we joke around. I always say that hapa Kenya we joke around.
Now
the
these
name
boys,
billion.
they've been fired. Why? Because the people who have a lot of nimewaita boys, no, these men, because they are men, they are fathers, they have children.
Yes.
By the way, they have spent like 11 years working for parliament. Si watu tu walianza kufanya kazi jana. Like hawa ni watu pension yao saizi iko threatened.
Yes.
These people, why they needed to make an example of a security supervisor or a security officer is because the people who have the most information in parliament are security. Umeelewa? They are the ones with the most information. And I'm not talking about information like budgeting and nini. Hiyo obviously ni watu wa ofisi wako nayo. Watu wenye wanaweza kakwambia nani alichapwa kwa lift na nani. Na tukaambiwa to delete your CCTV. Ni hawa. So that's why there was a panic that if the journalists have managed to get some level of information as to what is happening, then we have to first showcase that kama kuna mtu mwingine ofisa ama sergeant at arms anataka kuongea, wacha waone venye tumedeal na Joseph na James. Ndio wanyamazi. And it worked because immediately they were dealt the way they were dealt, and you have had even some of the threats from their direct supervisor. What happened is kukakuwa na things that you would even ask us at terms. By the way, kesho wanaenda unaona nakwambia uliza just write a letter to ask. Wakaachata kuongelesha members. Not even me. You know me, I'm not spending so much, but generally wakaingiza baridi kabisa wote. In fact, imefika mahali kila mtu, they are just like, I'm not about to lose my pension because someone will suspect me of talking to a member of parliament who wants to speak up about the injustices that are going on. So saizi huko kila mtu ameingia baridi kama yote. That is why you will never get any stories. You know, before that we used to get stories of parliament. Like you'd be told stories. Unajua, news kungekuwa na story ya parliament ya some corrupt deal or a corrupt or who was something. You can never, because the newsroom editors have been bought. In fact, the owners of those media houses don't know that their newsroom editors have been bought. Hao wajui. Hiyo tu ni deal inafanywa na huku na huku chini. The staff members have been threatened.
Yes.
Completely. By the way, James and Joseph, they were poisoned.
Yeah.
They were in Mombasa for a meeting with regards to this seat. Their Nini. Walipoisoniwa.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn.
They were poisoned.
So how did they know they'd been poisoned?
And you know, you guys think
walijuaje walikula kitu kanza kuharas karibu adedi?
Yeah. Yes. During just this time, because sasa venye walianza kuona hao watu hawakufi, hao watu hawanyamazi, we've not intimidated them to silence. We have intimidated them and now they are trying to figure out how.
Which year is this?
Which
year is this?
This year. Yeah.
Which month?
I don't have the exact month. At hao watu kiwapig, they are very fearful. They cannot even. I tried to call them to talk to them.
Yeah.
They couldn't.
Because kitu fani na hii.
You know, when someone told me the story, the first thing I did is I tried to look for the contacts. One of these two security officers, when I was doing the Invictus games, the introduction of Invictus, hii kitu ya Prince Harry, ikuje support wounded soldiers. Apparently one of them was part of the group that went to meet now the Prince Harry guys.
Yes.
So now I tried to use that network to get the contact. Nikapata. I tried to call the guy. He refused. Yani na kwanza hadi alikata simu. Nikajaribu hadi kumget through mtu mwingine, akasema watu wameingia baridi. They just want to follow this thing in the labor court, get their conclusion, safeguard their pensions and just disappear into wherever they could disappear. So, and you know rightfully so, because wacha nikwambie, unaona hiyo bunge unapewa tu trip ya kwenda Dubai. By the way, mtu asiai kudanganya kama uko na vita na watu. Thank God I never used to go for trips. Kama uko na vita na watu usiwahi danganya uende Dubai. Ama hizi UAE countries.
Tamalizi hapo.
Unajua pale ukikufa hakuna time ya kufanya, not time first
autopsy.
Because unajua lazima mwili iletwe nyumbani.
Na
ndio mwili iletwe nyumbani, si lazima iembalmiwe. So which means autopsy. And I'm not saying anything. There's a staff member who died in Dubai.
Of the National Assembly.
Endeni tumfanye research. And I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just saying he died. The fact is he died in Dubai.
So unanishtua mpaka
mimi sasa unajua tumekujidanganya. They in coast at the same time.
No, they had gone for.
Were they running away ama?
They were, I think, as I get it, and I'm not sure. Hii hata ni mimi, unajua ni mimi sasa nimedecide hapana.
Yes.
Watu lazima, people must know about this story. I think, you know, when you're going through the same thing, you start looking for help. Like, mnaambiwa endeni meeting, wapi endeni meeting. I think it was one of those things.
Okay.
That is what I think. Because they have refused to talk to me.
Yes.
Not because they don't want to talk to me.
The fear.
They are afraid.
Yes.
Actually, they said outright.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
So me, what I did when I had this, the person who told me the story, nikamwambia sunilete hizo makaratasi nisome kesi, akaniambia ana, but alikuwa anataka kuniambia because unajua ni mtetezi wa watu nini. So what I did, I told my lawyer to go and get me the public records. So I actually have the records. In fact, can I, if you just over there, just give me those records. I have the records here. So that this is public. What I'm telling you is public information. So you see this booklet, I went and printed the whole case, the way it has been filed. So this is even a case, it's under the Milimani Employment and Labor Relations Court in Milimani.
Na kabla uendelee utupatie information, so uzuri wa siku hizi tunaweza google. Na say the member of the Kenyan parliamentary staff who died in Dubai was Wellington Namenge Ogoya. Ogoya was a senior research officer in the Directorate of Parliamentary Research Services and was deployed to the Senate. He passed away in Feb 2023 while on official duty with the Senate's Committee on Energy. Okay. So, ni scandal gani kuna happen kwa energy?
No, mimi tu kitu nimesema siendi Dubai.
Okay.
Under your supervision na tunapigana na wewe.
Yeah.
Juu
unwritten rules.
Mimi tu nimejiambia based on the things I've been seeing and the things and I'm not alluding to anything. I've just said there's a staff member who died in Dubai.
Till he died in his sleep.
He died in his sleep?
Yeah, that's what the report said.
What was the cause of the death?
Hivyo tu. Ali died of natural causes in there.
Like heart attack ama?
Damn, saizi unajua nafanya tunaogopa parliament. Kwa like, iko nini kujani parliament? Kujani chai? No, I'm watching my sugar.
Anyway, so let me give you, Mimi, what I did, when I realized these guys are very afraid, I went, you know, you can buy the Nini from the court. There's a fee, you pay like 200 or something, then you get the file.
You had mentioned it earlier, but now, okay.
So, there's a case number, this is in the Employment and Labor Relations Court. The case number is ELRCC /E862 2025. It's between Joseph Mugeni and James Muruki versus Parliamentary Service Commission. They had to go and get court orders to stop the commission from firing them. Because mahali ilikuwa imefika walikuwa unajua mrengo inakuanga huko ni show cause letter, suspension, removal.
Yes.
Gloria Orwoba gone. Now we don't have to worry about travel reports and things. Shock on them. Niko na travel reports zote. Anyway, that's a story for another day. Because now what is happening, kumbe vitu nyingi zimekuwa zikifanyikia watu. So watu wameanza juu wamefikiwa wameanza kuongea. A lot of things. There's a lot of. So anyway, go and see. Everything I'm telling you is a public. So they got a court order to stop there. Pali ilikuwa imefika walikuwa nenda kuvutwa. And remember, these are guys who worked like 11 years, so their pension is very unfair. Very and ruthlessly so. They were on half salary for more than 90 days. In fact, up until last month, and that is information I have verified, they have not received a full salary. As I told you, again, the thing for salary, the clerk stopped my salary illegally, even before I was removed. He had stopped my salary illegally. That's why I'm also in labor court. So I think I also inspired these people wakaenda labor court. That's why unaona unasema ule akona kichwa ngumu mtoe haraka mkate miguu before wengine wajue wanaweza kuongea. So now if you go through this file, the very interesting things that you could read in this file, the submissions and the affidavit, it is the same playbook. Because you are the accounting officer, the administrator, you control everything, and you are also the custodian of the documents. Zile documents zenye najua ninafaa kukupatia ndio ukuje kupigana kesi yako ndio ninashikilia. There's even a letter here where they're asking for certain documentation as they prepare for their disciplinary case. The committee of the disciplinary wakawambia hizo vitu mumeuliza sisi hatuna, labda muulize nini. Of course hiyo muulize nani, si ni yeye ndio custodian. The same thing happened to me. Unaelewa? So at the end of the day, these are two gentlemen who now their matter is coming up for inter-party hearing on 14th of this month. And
because kitu interesting na hii story Ian, do you know one of the things if you're wondering why President MPs don't talk about this, the Speaker of the National Assembly ilikuwa Wetang'ula ali warn MPs against negatively speaking about the tower. How does that happen? Like unaambiwa hamwezi ongea negatively about it's a public institution. I should be able to.
Hiyo ni ile warning unasoma hapo. Kulikuwa hiyo ni warning yenye nyinyi mnasoma. Mnajua mkiwaniwa internally ni aje? Mimi niuliza ofisi yangu yenye nilipoa ilikuwa wapi? Karibu na choo.
Nusa mavi.
Unafanyiwa mavitu hadi unashanga what is happening to me. Your bills in parliament, you will never see them on the order paper. You understand? As I said, mtu kama mimi trips nilienda 2 alafu hiyo story. I can't even remember the last time I went for a trip.
Alafu kitu moja.
Yani wanakukujia na system. Ukiinua hivi kichwa, you are like, why did I even pick that fight?
but ukiniambia juu ya karibu na choo, another thing I'm assuming if a building is costing 9.6 billion, choo zifai kwa zinanuka, natural zinafaa kwa
Na ile extraction.
issue hata si karibu na choo. Issue
I'm
ni,
just saying,
hapo
like,
ndio kila mtu
utapata inanuka.
No, sasa mali unajua first una waiting area okay, I can't even talk about that of hizo vitu za office. Bunge Towers is a scam. It's the scam of the century.
But still,
Can you imagine 9.6 billion Kenya shillings and still you are sharing an office with another parliamentarian? You don't, ukikuja kuniona hakuna waiting place. Usimame hapo kwanza nje ya mlango juu ukiingia umefika kwa ofisi. Staff members wako wana struggle, akisonga hivi kidogo amegonga, secretary amegonga, researcher. 9.6 billion.
Amegonga the corrupt.
Unanielewa?
Corrupt guy.
Yes. Who are you sharing the office with?
Thank God nilikuwa nimeallocatiwa ni share na I think Shakila, and then I was like hell to the bloody no. So nika forfeit kuenda. I think it was Shakila.
Yeah, Shakila wa Wiper.
Then thank God hata yeye alikuanga hell to the bloody no. So tulikuwa mstreke pamoja, and then she went quickly and akaongea wherever, akapelekwa wherever. Then nikakuja nikaekewa a guy called the senator for Lamu. Is called I forget his name. He's a nice guy. And then so when that was happening, I was really complaining at the floor of the house about security, nini. So wakaona huyu, let's settle her. Wacha tumweke mali atakuwa comfortable anyamaze. So nikapewa sasa one of the offices that has no windows, but at least it's my own office. There are offices that don't have any windows, but you don't share. They're in the center of they're like at the corridor. So wakanieka hapo, they tried to like, walikuwa wananinyamazisha because that time nilikuwa naongea, nikienda mashow naongea, nasema you guys amjui nini. So wako like aki mama mpelekeni tu kwa ofisi enye ataacha kuongea. But so venye nilifika hapo, then I was like, you know what, it's a bigger problem. It's not even a problem about offices, it's a problem about everything in that building. How yani it's crazy. Anyway, yes. You up and mbele when things happen. Now when the Gen Z, you remember when I told you us guys were happy Gen Z happened? I said this in one of the shows. Then someone then someone said, by the way, this is evidence for anyone who thinks I'm making up stories. You'll see the dismissal not the dismissals, the suspension letters, the nini mtaziona hapa ndani hata unaweza chukua uonyeshe watu.
Okay.
For Joseph and James. So Joseph and James as we speak now wako nje. Hawana access ya ofisi zao. Umesikia kwa hiyo audio mkubwa wao akiambia kila mtu these people are like persona non grata or they are not hao ni watu hata
scale 15
sijui nini
come baby come
maka miguna atakuwa like damn
who's that?
so hao watu venye wako imagine iliishia hivyo. Hao ni watu wako na mafamilia, hao ni watu wamefanya kazi 11 years. Hao ni watu saizi not only, you know what they do when they deal with you, they try to make sure you can't get a job after that.
Yes.
And how they do that, unaona sasa kwa hizo mapali unaweza kuwa player kazi, wanapigiana masimu hapo madirector manini. So these are people technically who are unemployable in the spaces where they would work best. Because the lead cartels washa spread. Hao watu ni watu wataambia watu when you're stealing money or whatever. And which is funny because they actually did not participate in the thing. They just happened to be one of the officers on duty.
I love now. Yes, kabla uendelee, nataka tu nichukue tu 1 second nikuonyeshe building. Umesema hii building ya parliament haina windows. Nataka kukuonyesha. I always tell people kwa show that the Chinese give you what you ask for. The same Jiangxi construction built this as their main headquarters. Look at that building. Look at how beautiful it is. Na utapata it's cheaper than Bunge Towers.
For sure,
at some point, lazima tuangalie, like as a country, what are we trying to achieve? That's the same country. Wewe unataka kuniambia kitu inaweza kosa window. It has more windows than it needs. It's beautiful.
You know what they were trying to do? And thankfully I have the background in architecture and construction and I've actually worked in that space.
Yes.
They were trying to make the most out of nile kitu, you have got 300 plus members.
Yes.
67 senators. Hiki tu lazima tukule pesa, si ndio? Lakini pia lazima tukalisha hawa wase hapa ndani.
Yeah.
So kuna corridor, unaona? Like hii side ya madirisha kuna maofisi, hii side nyingine ya madirisha kuna maofisi. But sasa hizo ofisi hazitoshi. Juu pia lazima tungemeki kitu as cheap as possible so that we eat the most. Right?
Yes.
So hapa katikati pali inafaa kukua corridor. wameweka maofisi zingine. Umeelewa? So if the building is like this, there are offices on this side of the window, this side of the window, then where it's supposed to be a corridor, they've put a line of offices and the lifts.
And nakwambia
so hizo za katikati hazina madirisha.
Cheki unajua, do you know the people who are known to use very small spaces better than any
Chinese.
Asians. They do proper practical design.
Like yes, if you give them especially budget ya 5.89 billion and you tell them I don't want a single cent from this, I want the best product,
but if
they'll give you the best product.
But if you read the story of that contractor, at the beginning he refuses. If you read, enda google some story, alikataa kuletewa subcontractors. It was a big fight. Then
wanataka kuifanya direct.
Na subcontractors ni akina nani hapa tu
unajua these local people.
Atanipatia ngapi
so
he had refused. There was a fight where the main contractor had refused to be given subcontractors and it became like tufanya hivyo, si wewe uko na main contract. So I think akeka mkono juu akasema hata in fact jijengeni hiyo nyumba.
Hapo najua tuchukua kaka tu monkey fulani, because don't forget just last week wali jail their was it agriculture minister to death, particularly it was due thanks due nini because aliibaga pesa. So that's how seriously they take the money.
Take their corruption.
So when they come here and they're negotiating with government officials about corruption,
exactly.
Like ampendi nchi yenyu.
I'm sure the same way you are prepared to go to space number how to handle gravity and stuff like that, wanapitishangwa like how to get through a corruption deal.
But anyway, let me not go there. Yes. In fact nimeenda kuongea nikakumbuka my lawyers. Lawyers are not cheap. But so, now let me, because I was going to say something, I'm like, hold your breath. But now let me try to conclude this matter and say this is only one of the, the reason I can speak freely about this one,
because
you have the document.
I have the documents.
Na pia haufollow under warning ya Wetang'ula.
Hiyo warning ya Wetang'ula, by the way, aende akajiwon wawoniane huko na Clark na watu wawon huko pali wako. Wetang'ula hata nilimtumia message, nikamtumia kesi yangu ya labor because he's the chair of the commission. As the chair of the commission, when you are subordinates and the secretaries and all other people are subordinates, when they go wrong, you also have a responsibility to say, that is wrong, stop it. When this guy illegally stopped my salary, before I was even removed, I sent to Wetang'ula. He blue-ticked me. Alafu anatembea huku nje akiambia watu huyo mama ni mwenda wazimu. He has not even, I can bet you he has not opened to see. And but I was told that the clerk went and lied when he asked. I was told by someone who was in proximity during that conversation. Now this is how they think they've safeguarded themselves, but everyone around them is done with them. So someone told me ati imagine huyo clerk aliulizwa ati Wetang'ula ati na wewe umeenda kusimamisha mshahara ya Orwoba, hiyo umeenda sana, so you're stretching that matter. And then the guy apparently said no, sijasimamisha mshahara. He lied to Weta.
Oh, okay.
So Weta, because now me, I'm just a nominated senator, there's nothing, I'm down there. So ikakuwa like AOB, waka move forward. Now see me, I went and filed the thing in the labor court. I sent to him. If I file a case in the labor court and you read my affidavit and you show and you see that they're even in their response,
yes.
Oh, I can't discuss that. Yeah, okay. Because we're in court. I'm sorry, I can't discuss that.
Okay.
But anyway, the matter is in court.
Konene, nimeinterrupt show kukuremind you LEMFI. Kama uko US ama Canada na unataka kutuma do Kenya, register kwa LEMFI ukitumia promo code EKONENE. Hii itakuguarantee $20 cashback on your first $100 transaction. Alafu pia time una register, make sure umetick the 2 check boxes za notifications ndio ukireceive info about amazing offers through newsletters. Na pia usijali, LEMFI hatumagi hizi letters za, yani unajua like ma messages za kipumbavu. Pia usisahau every time una transact $50 and above una earn points. Na the more una transact, the more points you earn and you can redeem them as cash ile time unatuma pesa. Alafu pia kitu nanibamba kabisa ni saizi ukitumia LEMFI mzabaki umelipa pay bills na till numbers directly. That means mzabaki umehandle bills za maparo wako ukiwa hizo maside za States ama maside za Canada. Alafu pia we mwenyewe as a LEMFI user baki umetafuta ile button imeandikwa get USD $20, ubaki umeinvite mabeste zako, na ukiinvite mabeste zako on their first $100 transaction unapata pesa ngapi? $20 cashback. So unangoja nini? Baki umechangamka, ingia Lemfi international payments for everyone. Eko nene.
And
So
Weta was aware.
3.7 billion. I think another person who also we can't acha and then a clean slate ni Uhuru Kenyatta. Because this budget here Parliamentary Service Commission, it still comes from the government, sindio? So that means that e budget kimove from 5.9 ikiendelea kumove juu. Uhuru was somewhere just like, how does that work? Because iliopeniwa na Ruto, that one I don't dispute, but the construction started during Uhuru's time because Kibaki was gone. So it was conceptualized under Kibaki. Most construction happened under Uhuru. And then of course Ruto, nikoshua Ruto, let's just be honest, he wanted to open a building ile ni beautiful, you understand, like that's what he'd want, ndio ichukue sifa ikuende kwake. But now it's substandard. So what role do you think Uhuru played in this? Because pia Uhuru pia at some point na feeling ni kama history tunamsafishia rada sana, but this is bullshit.
For sure, every president that, you know, for me, just as I've told you, Wetang'ula, being the Speaker of the National Assembly, is the chair of the Parliamentary Service Commission.
Yes.
So anything that's going on wrong down there, hata kama inaenda wrong na uko the lowest at Parliamentary Service Commission, as long as it is brought to the attention of the chair, and he does nothing,
Okay.
I feel like huyo pia afai kuachiwa hivyo.
Yes, me weta tume nini hata that's why me bring up the fact.
But in that same spirit, as much as the budgets were being passed from Parliament and being executed by Parliamentary Service Commission, these people were somehow still responsible at a level. Even if PSC is independent,
Yes.
there is a level where as a president you can say, why are we even having a supplementary budget of this much? And even you talk to your parliamentarians to put in, unajua, every president has parliamentarians in their party. So you still talk to your parliamentarians and you tell them, lakini this supplementary budget nini, why don't you put an inquiry? But it was like it was how do you call it, sazile watu wanakimbilia kuchukua nini, it was like bank imefunguliwa kila mtu akimbia achukue the most they can get out of it. So he didn't stop it, and you don't see any efforts from Uhuru Kenyatta as a president at that time trying to even to put a stop to the corruption at that time. And now when we were coming to finish the building, you also didn't see any efforts by William Ruto trying to put a stop at a supplementary budget that now brought us from 7-point-something billion to 9.6 billion.
Because this extra 1.9 billion may happen under
every financial
Ruto.
year, every financial year, don't focus on the taxes that we are being charged. Focus on what they are also using that money for.
To do, yes.
Every finance bill also will show you the supplementary budget or a budget of parliament, and they might hide it in all sorts of wordings like upgrade of communication system, or like they have this thing called integrated security management system of parliament, which is non-existent but cost us billions. Because an integrated security management system means that when I check into parliament, I don't even need a security officer at the gate to open for me a gate. I have a badge, I badge myself in because it has a chip code, and when I badge myself in, when I enter, someone sitting from a control room can say Senator Orwoba right now is in chambers, Senator Orwoba right now is in wherever. There's even the badges that we're given, they don't have chip codes. Ile badge, in fact, I will show you. Do I have my bag here? Just give me the badge, I show you. It does not have any chip code. It is nothing. It is a plastic. Mi na wetu tunaweza print hizo vitu hapa nini industrial area tukuwe na mabadge. Haina chip code. And when you call something an integrated security management system, that badge should even be able to tell you, without me to go back in again and take my card to enter chambers, should be able to tell you that on this day, nikilog into hivi badge ya Gloria, inafaa tu kukuonyesha, on Thursday, Gloria alikuwa committee room 6, Gloria alikuwa nini, Gloria, that means, hata kama ni mileage anaitisha, mileage, because iko na timeline.
Yes.
The reason you have never seen any reports as to what happened during the Gen Z demonstrations is because if they have to do a report, they also then must also come and tell you, we don't have CCTV footage of these particular areas because the CCTVs are dummies. They are not actual CCTVs.
Damn.
How will they
Parliament.
tell you that?
So they paid actual money for
It's
the
on
CCTVs?
the, it's on the side. It's on the side of my Nini.
Sindio, sio scandal ni they paid actual money for real CCTVs but wakaget dummies because they're cheaper.
Why do we have dummies?
Because they're cheaper.
Yeah. But also, why do you have dummies? You don't want people to know what's going on there. Why don't you want people to know what's going on there?
But amwezi kuwa najua new misbehave in parliament but amwezi kuwa mnafanya vitu za ajabu.
Mimi kesi yangu ya sexual harassment yenye nimewekewa 10.5 million. The simple thing we asked for is the CCTV so that you can see me going into that office and you can if anyone wants to come and say hata hajai kuja kwa ofisi yangu.
Yeah.
But even that you can't get. And then again, who's the custodian of the CCTVs in Senate? The same person.
So unakata kuuliza so kile unatry kutuambia ni PSC has to there has to be billionaires.
What I'm trying to tell you is
they have to like dollar millionaires, all of them.
There's this one, yeah, that one. Oh, you've removed it from the thing. This one. Bring it with that thing because it comes with that thing.
Dollar millionaires.
Yeah. So just bring it. So this is the you see, this is the badge. This thing doesn't even have a chip.
Wacha niangalie picha.
Isi naka kama ile yangu ya
The
NSSF.
picture itself. See, Ian.
My friend, kuna mtu ana contract hapa ya integrated security management systems.
Alafu Ian, hii shida ni hii picha njata si clear. Hii picha mtu anaweza pita nayo.
Sasa hii saizi nikikupatia si ukienda hapa inda watakutengenezea.
Hii picha najua si clear. Sinaweza onyesha watu hii picha kama siwezi because you can't even be seen clearly.
Lakini sasa hapo kwa ID sijui utafanya nini hapo kwa ID ndio.
Trasensor but damn this is
But so this is the badge. And you can see so is this an integrated security management system? Yet there are billions that has been spent and continue to be spent in terms of management and maintenance of the integrated security management system of parliament. That is non-existent.
So nataka kuniambia even huduma cards were better than because they have chips, they had chips.
At least. And you know, the idea of integrated, the idea of integrated means that the system can show you movement, the system can show you presence, the system
for such a protected area.
And also that integrated security management system is what then you would ideally I have managed a critical facility. That is my expertise. Critical facilities are like airports, hospitals, data centers, things like that. I have managed a critical facility. An integrated security management system is important because what you want to do, you want to remove the human interaction. You see the day when I went to parliament and I couldn't enter, I didn't need anyone to carry me out of there or anyone to lock the gates. If you had an integrated security management system, even if my car entered the parking, that would be the maximum I would reach.
Yes, you just deactivate
I would just be they'll just deactivate my car. I'd just be at the parking saying now my card doesn't work. You know, I can't go past this place. And then even with an integrated management system, once you breach the security, the place where you're going, once you breach security, there will be an activation of either the sergeant at arms. You wouldn't have to call a breakdown service from Gara to come. There would be an activation of the sergeant at arms. The sergeant at arms on duty have a protocol. And immediately after all of that, there's something called an incident report. An incident report is what I've asked you. After Gen Z broke in to parliament, Kenyans should have been facilitated with an incident report.
Yes, this is what happened.
This is where the security lapse is. Because Kenyans were asking, watu wamevaa mamask wana shoot ni akina nani? Wanakuanga bunge. Pia sisi ilikuwa the first time kuwaona. So we were like, watu wanakuanga.
You said you guys were happy.
You know, I was happy. Why? So many things that were being raised about security that were not being addressed because watu wanakula pesa.
Yes.
Now, it came to pass. Not that it's a good thing that parliamentarians were injured or that people died.
Were they injured?
There are parliamentarians that were injured.
Well, they injured themselves wakihepa. Siya kupigwa.
No, there were parliamentarians that were injured. Maybe what you forget is that it was not only Gen Z who entered parliament. Gen Z entered parliament. Hao ni watu walikuwa wanatufanyia ma videos because their aim was to enter parliament.
Yes.
But there are guys who came in armed and they were going for the armory. They were actually, I didn't even know we had an armory until that day. They were going for the armory, the KDF armory, and the armory for Bunge. Because Bunge ukiingia, you have to deposit your weapon. So there were many weapons that had been deposited. So when Gen Z was doing their thing and there was that distraction, there were people who were trying to steal those weapons. Those were not Gen Zs. Gen Z didn't even know there was an armory in, I mean, some of these things you can tell when it's
si hata Gen Z peke yake, hata mi si Gen Z,
mimi
but I
nilisikia
didn't
about
know
the
about that.
armory
Yeah.
tulikuwa na interview na
no, but
Abel
it's true. It's
Abel
true.
Mutua.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, and they're like, okay, I didn't know we
Yeah,
actually
it's true.
had
No,
such a
we
thing.
have a military armory there, but we also have where we store the guns.
Yes, of course.
Most parliamentarians have guns. And when they enter certain spaces, you can't enter with a gun. So you have to store the gun.
Yes.
And the time when they broke in, the guns were in storage. Most of the, you understand, because
Yes,
they were
yes,
in
yes.
chambers, so the guns were in storage. There was that. But also, there was the fact that these people had the floor plans of parliament.
So hiyo inakuwaga ni as a conspiracy theory is the opposition organized that, and in this case watu blame mpaka Gachagua,
My conspiracy
which
is not the opposition.
makes no sense. So who do you think was this?
My
going
theory
after the
theory is corruption has been normalized in parliament. They forgot to even safeguard their security. And I think, in every chaos there's an opportunist. There's a business person.
Yeah.
There's someone who has seen something that you haven't seen, because you're more focused on human rights and whatever, the finance bill. But there's someone who has been watching every day how parliamentarians enter,
Yes.
how they deposit their guns. They've been watching. There's someone who, remember when after that 3 days later, there was a guy who was arrested because apparently he was seen tampering with the CCTV of parliament. That guy was not tampering with the CCTV of parliament. The story goes, allegedly, watu wa 10.5 million, the story goes, that guy, he actually supplied CCTV footage, CCTV installations to the Senate, to Parliament, and they didn't pay him. And yet he found out from finance that his money had been released. So akakasirika, the story goes, allegedly, akakasirika, akakuja akatoa CCTV zake. Umeelewa? So he just was like a...
so he was not tampering, he just repossessed his own stuff. Because
Now, if you ask me, the first corruption inaanza na wacha tu apite. The second corruption inaanza tutauza badge za parliament. The third corruption inaingia tutauza sticker za gari za parliament. Sticker za gari za parliament zinauzwa for almost 200,000. Watu wenye si parliamentarian. Yeah.
It's not like in your...
so unaweza, for me to be able to park there, ama how does it help?
In town, you do uchaji wangu parking na sticker ya parliament. Umeelewa?
So you can park anywhere.
Yeah, you can park anywhere. There are places you can access with the sticker that normally you wouldn't access. It has some value. Zinauzwa. So tukaanza kuuza mastika. Tunaona venye corruption inaendelea. So for me what happened during the Gen Z, my analysis is there are people who just needed the opportunity to strike. And the opportunity presented itself as a Gen Z movement. And let me tell you, there's a reason why that armory is in parliament. Because they are very safeguarded.
Place. Yes.
Otherwise ingekuwa anywhere, hata ingepelekwa Uhuru Park, but vitu zingeibiwa. You know what I mean? So they were just waiting for the opportunity. And let me tell you, the people who entered parliament were Gen Zs who were just genuinely like, we are demonstrating and this is it. And then there are criminals who entered parliament with knives, with the Nini. And then there was a lot of political battles that were being scored. Personally, I was told the day we finally came back to parliament, me and my team and my staff, and it took for us about 2 weeks, because remember I was sick, I was pregnant.
Yes.
So I didn't come back immediately like everyone else. I took about 2.5 weeks to come back. When I came back, my driver, mulikuwa wapi? Hey, nyi mulikuwa mumetafutwa. Nyinyi particularly, mulikuwa mumetafutwa. It was not with Gen Z. People were settling political scores.
Yes.
Nyinyi mulikuwa mumetafutwa. When I went to investigate, there was a hit list. They had put out a hit list because they were saying, if this thing happens, there are certain people who must die. But I was in the hit list. And I was not in the hit list because of anything. I was in the hit list because I had started showcasing, I'm going to talk about stuff in parliament. These people went on a smear campaign.
So nafikiria tu hiyo sasa ni hit list ya just within parliament itself.
There was a hit list within parliament.
unaunderstand ko sisi
Yes,
kama
yes.
sisi tukiwa nje ilikuwa like everyone at parliament is an enemy there were no specific enemies.
Yeah, exactly. But there was
Yes.
a hit list. Now, I want you to understand this.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want you to understand this. And let whoever who's saying I'm lying come and tell you their truth. And let them tell them that there was no hit list. There was a hit list. And here's the thing about that hit list. There were certain people who had been made... there are certain people who are outrightly the enemy of the people because of how they had been profiled. You know, the Kimani Ichung'was, Nini, wao walikuanga hata hao ndo wali. Mimi, I was in Senate. I don't pass. I don't vote at all, even if I was... Yani, finance bill haikuji Senate. Yeah. Finance bill, sisi hatu vote. But somehow, nilikuwa nimewekwa level ya kina Kimani Ichung'wa because kuna mtu alikuwa anatumia hiyo hatred yenye ina manufactureiwa. Remember I told you about a smear campaign? These guys went on a smear campaign through mainstream media, through bloggers, through what, to prepare you that Gloria is in fact an enemy. The video of me being pinched that was released in State House, no video of the president will be released without an approval by certain people within the presidency.
Haikuwa captured na mainstream media? Like
mainstream
legacy media?
Walikuja capture press conference. Not everyone in mainstream media is... Hata kama ni KTN, kuna watu wa KTN wanakujanga. Wanaitwanga State House correspondents ama nini na nini.
Yes.
In order for them to keep their you know, as journalists, their, how do you say it? Their offices, like the State House, there's a release. You can't just enter and start shooting anything and releasing.
Yes, of course.
That's why we don't see... That's why we see specific
There's
things.
a press office.
There's a press office
Yes.
that collaborates with... Thank you. There's a press office that collaborates with the journalists who are welcome to State House to do the thing. Even the release of that video of the president pinching me was in line with the smear campaign leading up to the hit list, leading up to the people. Like I told you, Gen Z were genuinely saying parliamentarians have been sold out.
Yes.
Rightfully so. There are some who've been sold out. But in that chaos, someone who was fighting me knew this is also an opportunity to get rid of this person. So I have to make people hate her even more. And then in that hit list that is being circulated, ati mukipatana na so and so, make sure her name has to be there. Because you tell me why I'm in a hit list for the finance bill.
Okay.
And then they tried to say, she said that she's... You remember they ran a campaign that I agreed for pads to be taxed.
Taxed, yes.
Nowhere on record have I. Unaelewa? Nowhere. No one could pull up a record and tell you this. They just started running the smear campaign.
Alafu nini kitu moja I think last time sikuuliza 25th of June usiku ulikuwa unasema you are in some groups that even the president was in. What was the conversation going on hiyo siku apart from, because I remember the president called protesters criminals, yes? But what else had happened your time? Was there a certain level of responsibility that, you know what, we pushed these people to this because they said no to this thing, but
No.
we insisted
No,
on...
there wasn't. There was none. There was none because by that time, some of us who had been the alternative voices,
Well,
first of all, mi sikuwa na security yangu ilikuwa imewithdrawiwa, enda muone.
yeah.
So watu walikuwa na self-preserve because sasa umerealize even the people you are trying to tell this is happening, it's like the pushback is even from them. Mi security yangu sikuwa na security, enda uangalie between 23rd, which I think was also a good thing because I think they would have used the security to get to me. Because I didn't have, between that 23rd, 24th, 25th, I didn't have security.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, that whole, even when I came back, much later ndo nilikuja kupewa sasa bodyguard.
Yes.
But those people, the alternative voices had been really, walikuwa mezimwa. So in fact, most of the conversations were more like, this is happening, nyumba ya nani nachomwa, you know, people, you know, also people, you forget these people are parliamentarians, so they are dealing with their family crisis. As in watu walikuwa, there was a real panic. There was a real fear. It was not just, it was like ninakujiwa.
Na fear yenyu ilikuwa nini at that point? Mko mnafikiri you're losing your seats and...
No,
was that fear of...
No. It was a
this
fear
thing might
of,
get
no,
ugly?
it was a fear of life and death. There are parliamentarians who walikujiwa kwa nyumba na mobs of people.
Yes.
And they were threatening to burn down the houses. Some houses were burnt. Some businesses were burnt. Some people like the Alice Nganga for Thika, remember, even her school, whatever, all the people. In fact, at that point, akukukwati na tunaongea as politicians, people retreated back to family.
Yes.
People went back to
And humanity.
And humanity. Mbona sijui me, my son was being kidnapped. And that's why if you go and look between 23rd and whatever, I drop off I go silent.
Yes.
Because I'm also dealing with a lot, and then I'm pregnant, and then I'm sick. And apparently I get to know that I'm on the hit list.
Alafu sasa nini, tukisahau hata hit list, in hindsight, do you think the whole situation was handled wrongly? As much as there was misinformation.
Absolutely.
Let's say the misinformation is out there. You can't also tell people you're stupid. Nyini wajinga, sisi ndo tunajua.
The word you're looking for
I think
is
that's
de-escalation. They never de-escalated any matter. They never, and I feel like that's because people were taking advantage of the uprising to feed in their personal interests. Like for instance, nimekwambia bunge watu wana settle scores.
Yeah.
Unaona? Mwingine ameiba pesa nyingi anaona hapa ndio wacha hii nini chomeke, wacha tuchome hii ofisi ndio sasa tuseme ilichomwa. You understand? Because that's what was happening in the county offices of some MPs and whatever. You remember? Vitu zilikuwa zinachoma, but it wasn't kuchoma. People were now just taking advantage of the situation.
Pia add evidence.
So now,
corruption
exactly.
evidence.
So now what was happening?
Kuna moto City Hall.
Instead of kulikuwa na unajua ulikuwa unajiuliza hizi moto zinatokea wapi na hata watu hawajaenda huko,
kuna moto 10 huko.
Moto ni
unajua if you not take
Kikuyu
Lockout zilichomwa. Why?
Yes.
For you to reconstruct a whole file, inapeleka kesi nyuma sana. And as much as we are digital, we are not completely digital.
Yes.
So what was happening after, where I said I was happy personally is, first some of us had been telling the president, do something about this, stop, don't do, we were the alternative voice in those spaces. And I've said this before, mumeona kuna mtu ameanza kurelease ma screenshot za hiyo group yenye tulikuwa. If mimi nilikuwa mbaya venye walikuwa najaribu kunipaint the smear campaign how come hawaja release screenshot zangu za hiyo nini? Kwa sababu screenshot zangu hapo I'm talking for the people. Screenshot zangu hapo ninasema why are we doing this, let's stop doing like screenshot zangu ukisoma uko like by the way mse venye tunamjua hapa nje si venye tunasoma hizi screenshot. And so there was like they were manufacturing hatred and people were taking advantage. And in the end, the people who were responsible to de-escalate the situation only escalated the situation. Even the president going to do the press conference was that night.
Later in the evening, yes.
At 9 p.m. I felt it was good that he should have addressed the people.
Not call them criminals.
But when the people you are addressing are up in arms, you don't go and call them criminals.
Yes.
You don't. I mean, even if the truth of the matter is that there were some criminals in the mix, that is not the time. That is not the time, because kuna mtu wamefiwa, their child has died. Sasa on top of that unasema wewe mwenye amekufa juu alikuwa criminal. Mtu mnajua alikuwa tu hapa university. So I feel like at that point he had an opportunity to de-escalate. But again, State House boys, wacha tuonyeshe international community we still are under control. We are going to, that was the messaging was coming from the State House boys backyard.
Damn, najua ukisemaga State House boys mona Itumbi tu.
Yeah, I can't see past.
Sasa kina Itumbi ndo alikuwa like iko nana.
But Itumbi was
special programs.
sitting in very strategic meetings between that 25th and 3 months afterwards. Even in some security meetings, I am told, allegedly, because 10.5 million, Itumbi was sitting. Yeah. So, and you can tell that even the president as a leader and as a father, if he that is not how he would normally communicate. Yes. But because sasa kuna hii pressure, and don't forget the president panicked. He was shaken, very much shaken. Very much shaken.
Yeah, because hiyo ni kitu hatujaifikiria inaweza happen.
And rightfully so, because hata kama wewe ni mwanamume aina gani, you would be panicked. Parliament has been breached. It has been burnt down. You have had to call in the military in some places. You are having the international community starting to do all these news features as if you don't have control. If you didn't panic, then you are not human.
Yes.
So he panicked. He started doing those things on Twitter. What are they called?
Oh,
Spaces.
Twitter
Twitter space.
Yes.
How come now he has never gone to a Twitter space? If it is something that he would do anyway, how come he has never gone back to Twitter space? You know, that was a show of real panic. We are at the desperate of the most desperate situations.
Alafu ukiendelea nimenotice tumefanya upanga 3 hours.
Ian Maji kwanza.
Ian Maji
tumalize sasa ishe.
Yes, Ian Maji Ian alikuwa amekulatea hiyo maji na akaisahau tu kabisa, akaiweka tu kwa.
Alafu unajua as politicians let hata sitawaonyesha brand. Wasi tu hawajafanya brand placement. But what I'm saying is Kenyans first should demand for an incident report as to what happened in parliament on that day. Because you can't have gone and had a budget and done renovations.
Yes.
You've done renovations without an incident report.
Oh, okay.
So how did we know? How did insurance decide we are going to cater for this? Because we also have insurance. The buildings are insured. So some things insurance covered.
Yes.
But how did the insurance cover without an incident report, without a report, without a public how so hata hiyo inafaa kukuonyesha hapo kuna ukatelism. Juu sasa tunaambiana tu wewe tengeneza madirisha lakini hizi zingine mimi nitaweka supplement. I mean how? See a report has to come out.
Yes.
There was a kamkunji that was done after that in parliament. And people were, I am told, I was absent, but I'm told reliably so by my colleagues at that time that walifanya kamkunji inile kamkunji yenye waka decide ku have motion na watu waka debate wakisema that there should be an inquiry and a report brought so that we could deal with Gen Zs. Nothing happened after that. No report was brought. Gen Zs was supposed to come to parliament, to Senate particularly, to now express exactly what they want the government, the way forward.
Na si watu wangeabductiwa kutoka
no, but you see the idea was the Gen Zs broke in, they wanted to address parliament.
Yes.
And now we had a whole motion about it. The motion passed that a report should be made so that we can have a way forward. Immediately after that, that's history. That's done. Nothing has happened. Nothing, absolutely nothing has happened. Those days we were even, I wasn't there, but I'm told they were allowed to debate online because sasa bunge ilikuwa accessible. But I didn't log in. I was in hospital. Yeah, I was in hospital. I was bedridden and I was very sick. And nothing happened. And then unajua, just like Bunge Towers, the only thing that happened is these 2 very innocent security officers who have served 11 years in parliament have been fired.
So na ndio nezataka kujua sasa hii were the more officers fired because hii bunge ilikuwa because of exposing the corruption where Kenya lost now neza sema more than 3.7 billion because I'm sure even the 5.89 had been inflated
For sure.
Najua. So that means we've lost a lot of money. Let's say 6 billion so far because it's still continuing. Tulikuwa nasema renovations.
Still continuing under renovations and upgrades.
Yes. So hata mfanya nimepoteza my train of thought, like this is crazy, man. Like when you think about Kenya and
talking about in the relation with the two.
Yes, after you were other people fired, like other security people? No,
in fact 3 people were part of that. 3 security officers were part of that case, but the way they came hard on them. One of them I think alitolewa juu alisema yeye alikuwa anaenda kuchukua evidence ya hawa wengine. Azina alijitoa, aliangusha hawa wengine akajitoa allegedly. So wakabaki wawili. So wawili ndio sasa wakaangukiwa. But you see, you know when you work 11 years and this is the only job you know.
Hapo ujani understand stories za kina Mugeni na bonga sasa juu ya after 2015.
After the officers. Here's the thing. Security. No, you know how parliament works. No one knows the parliament structures. If you don't know the parliament structures, then you don't know, you can't follow the money. If you can't follow the money, you can't complain about anything. For instance, if you know, now that I've told you the parliament structures, you can sort of start seeing things the way they should be seen. But no one knows even the Senate structures. You don't, like in Senate, no one, the people who know are the people who are running the show. Like for instance, who approved or proposed the contract for evacuation of VIPs? No one knows. And because you don't know, no one knows the budget. Because you don't know the budget, you don't know where to start because you don't even know which office should have that contract. Because you don't know which office should unachoka, unaachia hapo. That contract, does it still exist? Did we ask for them to pay back a fine or something for actually not evacuating VIPs?
I'm sure sasa mi niko sure ukifuatilia utapata walilipwa. Sasa itakuwa
utapata hata walilipwa. I'm sure coming from a critical facilities background and experience, when you have an evacuation contract, in the evacuation contract, when you have persons with disability, you charge more. So unanipata wapo tulikuwa na PWDs wenye literally was stranded in both houses. Do we know whether that contract still exists? Nobody knows. Do we know how much that contract is paid? No. I've told you there's a contract of about 400 million Kenya shillings annually for verification of documents.
What documents?
Ati sasa kama niko na KCPE, KCSE, nini for staff members.
Okay.
Acha ni kunywa maji.
Kunywa maji tusikie hiyo. 400 million for verification of documents.
Ile yenye niliona hivi makaratasi ilikuwa 400 million for verification of documents. So and what happened there's a time that someone tried to blow the whistle. And then they went on a deep dive on all the documentation of all the staff members of parliament, and they found a huge number. You can check it online. They found a huge number of staff members in parliament. No, first, staff members in parliament don't actually have, they have fake papers. And they were let go. Like too randomly. Shwa. And then history kakufa.
So
around the same time ndio kulikuwa na hao ghost workers. We also have ghost workers in parliament.
So nakuuliza verification of documents, who are we verifying? Employees of parliament or even parliamentarians?
Employees, staff members and parliamentarians.
And how many of them are they? Like parliament?
As I told approximate? You, no one knows.
Okay, approximate 1,000.
Mimi hata nisikudanganye.
Okay, let's say it's 1,000.
I don't know because you see it has many names.
Let's say it's 1,000, yes? And how much are we spending per year? 400 million. But if 400 million, if I verified you last year, I don't need to verify you this year.
Our certificates expiring.
I'm only supposed to verify the new employees.
The reason why I'm talking about this, I want that parliament to come out and say I'm lying and then bring the documents of how much they're spending on verification of it. Because you see, the problem is it's easy for them to say this person is propaganda, this person is lying, but it's very difficult for them to just be transparent on their budgets. It's also very difficult for them, for instance, when I say people are traveling back and forth, just remove the travel report. It's very difficult. Like parliament, what they do, it's like it's a lot of secrecy so that you cannot, until I told you a ticket in parliament goes for 1.5 million, you didn't know.
Damn.
It's a lot of secrets. Yeah, remember when I came last time I told you a flight ticket on business.
Oh, yes.
So there's a lot of secrecy around how. So now the question is, and I want to ask this, Moaf, yeah?
Yes.
Parliamentarians, we oversight cabinet and the executive. We oversight all state agencies. We oversight all parastatals, all government entities. We even oversight the National Police Service. All of that, we play oversight. Right? And then who oversights parliament? Who is the authority that now comes in at a situation like now when I'm telling you everything is going wrong in parliament? Who oversights parliament? There is no institution that oversights parliament and how parliament runs its affairs. There is no institution that can come and say, even judiciary has an institution that oversights them.
JSC.
Yeah. And that JSC has independent mechanisms, including those ombudsman and those whatever. Unanipata? Pali tunashtakingi hao majaji wenye wako corrupt.
Yeah.
Who oversights parliament? Ni wapi nitaenda nishtaki speaker? Niseme speaker amefanya hivi. Ni wapi? Uko ni wapi? Nitumeni. Ni wapi nitaenda nishtaki commissioner?
Juu kama historia ya PSC
ukumbuke mimi nimejaribu all avenues. Juu after niende kushtaki mtu kwa PSC, nikaona PSC hizi fanya kitu, nilienda nikashtaki mtu, nikafungua kesi hapo kwa police station ya impersonation when they actually impersonated me through an office. Lakini hiyo polisi iko under parliament. So who nitashtaki wapi? Hizi vitu zote nawaambia ni wapi nitaenda kushtaki.
And this, how do this Nini come about? These commissions of inquiries? Because hizo ndizo zimekuwa.
Parliament. It's parliament. and it will be parliamentarians who do it.
Okay.
Ndo nataka kuuliza fleo venye mnasema mimi ni mdomo, ni wapi nitaenda nishtakia watu? Nitawashtaki ama niseme venye Ruto alisema nitawashtaki kwa Mungu? Nitawashtaki wapi?
Mimi pia sijui.
So that is why because hakuna mali utawashtaki, wataendelea kuiba, wataendelea kufanya wanachofanya, wataendelea kuvuta kina Joseph na James, wataendelea kutoa kina Orwoba because watasema whatever next tutaona vitu watafanya, because ni wapi tutaenda kushtaki hao watu? Hakuna institution that holds them accountable.
Because me nikiangalia the amount of money that was stolen, am I still being stolen through Bunge Towers? And I look at that and I know that unless at some point kuna a different parliament, and in that parliament the speaker is like you can speak about anything, because vile muangaliaga that speaker, that should be the place where you can speak about anything, sindio? Because hapo si lazima tuseme allegedly, sindio?
Yes.
In fact, that's why you are protected. It is a privileged space where you are protected. But even there when you speak, but Orwoba has been removed for speaking there.
Yes, unakwambia sasa
tawashtaki wapi?
Ukituambia juu ya how like because mimi naangalia this is an ongoing robbery. Parliamentary Service
Commission.
Yes, this is an ongoing robbery. They are robbing Kenyans, unajua. And if they are not robbing us, they need to give us the freedom kuingia hapo na kuangalia. Kuona, is there any door that leads to nowhere? Machigule mesema there is a door that leads to a wall. If
I can show you.
That's not true.
Mlango ya this
Mimi I can show you the door. I can even nitaingia nikwambia fungua hii mlango. Uniambie hapo nini iko ndani? Nothing. Not a room. Not a it looks like unajua venye kunaweza kuwa na kona kwa building, then hapo kujiweke mlango. Yaani unaweza simamisha kifagio.
So unasema they look like these torture rooms, eh?
Because
za kucheza na mind yako, like a door that leads to nowhere.
Yeah. It's called the door that leads to nowhere.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
end of the road for you. And
so my thing is people keep trying to paint a picture of, I don't know how, but I'm saying we just we never thought through certain things, and maybe that's why we are told our 2010 constitution is progressive. So as we live it, we are supposed to make it, to refine it. And what I can tell you is, first of all, the powers that we have put upon the secretary, it's not the secretary, the powers that we have given the clerk of the Senate and the clerk of the National Assembly are powers that should not be given to any individual office. Because the next thing that happens is abuse of office. As we are seeing, all of these things here, all of these things signing, it's showcasing abuse of office. Because also ye anareport kwa nani? Uko kwa commission pali huyo mtu anareport, uko ye ndio secretary, na ye being the secretary ndio ana need to approve certain things and to lobby for certain things. So the chair is somehow lazima ati kidogo kwa secretary. Unanielewa? So he reports to himself. That is why when I wrote a letter complaining about certain things to the chair of the commission, who is Weta, he couldn't act on it because I was complaining about someone he bends over to, kind of like we have to work together. That's why I'm saying, now that we have seen and we have lived it, and I'm not the only one saying, I've told you go and do some research on JB Muchuri when he was a speaker of the National Assembly.
He used to complain about that. So, swali ni Mugeni na Murioki, as Kenyans, how can we help to at least kufanya wapate a fair trial? Because that's all we want. Because them letting the media, because of freedom of the media should be there.
The media should go there.
Yes,
the media should. Someone will ask me, where you're just picking up was. I'm not picking up was. I feel for these people. I am out and fine. I don't earn a salary. I've not been earning a salary. I can get by.
Yes,
that's not the same position with Joseph and James. They are not in the position where they can say, I don't need the salary or I can get by.
Yeah.
And not only that, these people have made sure when they have done whatever they've done to them, none of the other possible employers can take them in for work. So wamewaharibia mpaka any other potential kind of employment. And these are not young people who you can say will go and start a business. Unanielewa? So for me, I think when I heard the story, first I felt so bad because I was like, sasa venye mnasemanga, you are a member of parliament, you are there to represent the people, to speak for the people, to speak for the vulnerable. How can you go speak for the people, the vulnerable, ule mnyonge akoko kwa grassroots iten, na hapa bunge uwezi ongea maneno ya Joseph Mugeni na James Muruki, who technically you can say these sergeant at arms, these security officers in parliament, more than one time, if you've been in that parliament, they have saved your lives. When we even go to Mashinani, these are the people who save your lives. These are the people who keep you safe. These are the people who make sure when you are in there, you can be able to work without fearing my enemy or whatever. Hata imagine umenipatia kukunywa. Kuna time Senate, mimi sikukuwa na kunywa maji, na nikaambia ma sergeant at arms, watu wanataka kuniangusha. And it is the same sergeant at arms who are making sure I feel safe. Mpaka kuna mwingine alikuwa ananiambia, Senator, here, I promise you, hii ukianguka, yani they were like, hautakaa hapa bila kukunywa maji.
Yes.
These are people who keep us safe. But now, you are there as a member of parliament, particularly in this parliament, this parliament for 2025, You are there saying, mimi ni mtetezi wa watu, naenda ground kuangelesha, I am the voice of the people, and you cannot be a voice of Joseph and James, who have worked 11 years in that space where you are, who are now being dragged in the mud because of something they did not even do, and something that should have been done anyway to the next level, because whoever did the expose, I'm glad they did it. You don't care about their families. You don't care about their children. You don't care ati Joseph na James wameangushiwa tu huko, because for you, wewe bado wewe ni member of parliament. Alafu unataka kuniambia during Gen Z movement, hivyo venye mnadili na hao ma security officers na ma sergeant at arms, during Gen Z movement, hiyo time wame break in, mlikuwa mnakasirika ati kuna ma sergeant at arms wengine walikuwa wanawapeana. Lazima wawapeane. You don't care about them. Mimi ningekuwa sergeant at arms mwenye ninaonyesha ngo madharau na watu wengine huko wanakuwa na madharau, mimi pia ningewapeana. You understand? So because they were complaining, say, some of these sergeant at arms walikuwa natupeana, tulikuwa tumejificha wapi, hao ndo wanaambia watu wakuje huko. What do you expect? Now you have two people who are being let go illegally and wrongfully, and actually too in the most inhumane way. Alafu unataka kukaa hapo kama member of parliament, ati a representative. You can't even represent the staff members there. And it's not only these ones. There are staff members, nakwambia hao subordinate staff, wale wa catering, wale wa nini. Unajua kuna staff wengi mpaka wa gym, unajua staff ni wengi, cleaners,
kuna gym.
Kuna yani unajua pale ni operation kubwa. There are many staff members wananyanya. So umesikia venye huyo director wa security ameongea kwa hiyo clip?
Yes.
Umesikia venye ameongea?
Yes.
Wewe niambie watu wanafanya kazi chini ya huyo mtu. Just from that conversation.
Because ile madharau, like there was a very dismissive attitude.
Dismissive?
Yeah. Yes.
Amesema mnataka kupigana na mimi, wacha nitakuonyesha. You know,
na like wewe nimejua scale 15 and uko scale 8.
Scale 8 na scale 15, who cares? Scale humanity is humanity. Na wewe uko hapo as an MP, uwezi simama hiyo chambers useme, wait a minute, wacha tuache kuongea juu ya wakazi wa EPZ, wakazi wa Kenya Pipeline, wakazi wa Mumias, tuongee juu ya wakazi wa parliament. Because workers in parliament are having the hardest, you guys don't even know, the roughest time, the hardest time, the roughest time. Na they cannot report to anyone, because wale wa KPLC watakuja watafute mbunge wao, waambie mbunge, enda aki KPLC wanatunyanyasa, tukuje tusimame, tuende inquiry, nini, kurudi form. Na hawa wa parliament wataenda kuambia nani? You've never seen a motion, you've never seen any discussion about parliament staff members, yet those are still Kenyans who still are represented and who still vote. But they cannot report their problems. There is a serious deficit in integrity, humanity, and fairness and labor rights that is happening under Parliamentary Service Commission.
Damn.
The chair of members' welfares, members is the members of parliament, of Parliamentary Service Commission, is Senator Okongo Omogeni.
The lawyer.
That one.
Yes.
When I was complaining my salary has been stopped illegally, what did he do?
What?
Nothing. You know why? His hands are like this. We choose commissioners who we send to the commission to represent us, even us as members. They reach the commission, they find the chief cartels. Wananyamazishwa. So, kama members wana complain. Staff members cannot even complain. They can't even open their mouth. Unaenda kuinua hivi kichwa, ulivutwa, uliwekwa show cause, ulisuspendiwa, ukatolewa. evil. That is the thing, protocol. So I'm so happy. I know they will watch this. I know they have refused to talk to me. I know they have refused to ni mimi tu nimejitumatuma ndio nipate hizi my information na nini. And but I want to tell them, first of all, congratulations for even going to court, because watu wanauliwa. Congratulations for that. It's a step in the right direction. So no matter what happens, you've at least gone to I feel like no matter what happens, at least they have been bold enough to say, for the interest of other people, wacha tuende kotini. And I want to just say to Joseph and James, I know their lives have been threatened. I know it's bad. It's not any different from me. My life has been threatened severally, and I've had incidences. But sometimes we are put in certain places for a reason, and I believe that once they get through this case, all those people watakuwa wafungulia barabara, so that the ills and the evil things that happen, truly there is a very evil spirit in parliament, so that we can begin to deal with that evil, because sisi ni watu wa Mungu. So we are not going to be threatened into evil. We will continue to bring the light, and we will continue to speak about these things until we clean up parliament, whether it is now, whether it is in 2027, because as you can see, parliamentarians are quiet. Yeah, but it's not because they can't talk. Threats to their jobs, to whatever, unanelewa, vitu nyingi tu zinafanyika. And I'm waiting for them to remove a statement, even about my matter. They cannot remove a statement about my matter.
Because me kile neza sema, this is a challenge to your PSC. Kama nadanganya, at least tuachieni to give us the freedom to come and film up on ndani, tuone those offices if they are working, and if that building looks like a 9.6 billion shillings building.
And ask for
how
all
many
the
floors
documentation
does the building have?
It's, I don't know, I'm not sure. Let me not lie. Yeah.
Because nataka kuona hii building ya 9.6 billion,
But
and
it's
how
not
it
even
looks.
that.
Because
You
it
know,
needs to look like 9.6
not even
billion.
that. Be
But you've seen
transparent.
it. Ushaona huko kwa nini?
Let them give the
nishaona from
reports.
nje.
Let them give the other thing that the journalists were unable to get was all the reports of the expenditure for Bunge Towers. They were unable to be given.
Because that should be public record.
That should be access to information according to the Constitution of Kenya. Any monies that are spent under the exchequer from the taxpayer, we should be able to access that information.
Yes.
So if the things I'm saying are a lie, they can also come out and say we do not have a contractor for evacuations. They can come out and say we were not able to give a report about the June demonstrations, because I don't know why, but they should also come out and tell us how much was spent to renovate whatever was happening. Why didn't the insurance company give us a report? Give us clarity of what is happening. All other institutions are forced by law, by processes, and by their accountability mechanisms to showcase how they are spending taxpayers' money. Except Parliament. Parliament is the only place you wake up on Tuesday, you've gone to Bunge, you had a perfectly okay red carpet, and on Tuesday of the following week, you have a new red carpet. And you cannot be told. I asked this on the floor of the House. Who asked for a new red carpet? The other red carpet was fine. When I asked it, nobody was able to tell me where the request came from, whether it was necessary, who approved it, who gave the contractor. It's the only place you wake up, you are just okay. You come back, they've added 5-6 floodlights.
Lakini kitu moja lazima niulize, tukimalizia kitu naweza taka kuuliza. One of the things juu ya Magufuli used to be a leader kabisa. So he used to ask questions when there was wastage. As much as unataka kuniambia, if Ruto wanted that to stop, he used to like kuchange carpets, can he stop it? Ama parliament is so independent that even a Ruto can't stop it.
Parliamentary Service Commission is independent. But a simple thing, when we were saying we don't want this finance bill because we are being overtaxed, we should also be saying we don't want this finance bill because why are we sending this number of billions to Parliament when we have already been told of the wastage? But also as a leader, as the president, those are your members of Parliament. So to speak, those are your speakers.
Yes.
Both speakers are from the majority. That's the party in office. Call your speakers and tell them what operations are you people running? Cut your budget, because the more your budget is up, I have to find money for this budget. If I have to find money for this budget as a president, I have to go tax people. I have to take more loans. You've seen, we've just taken another Euro. You've read about the Eurobond. I'm just saying, the question that you should ask people, Mwafrika, and it should be asked so loudly that people start understanding what's happening, is who oversees the operations of Parliament? Where do you report the corruption that happens to parliament, and what happens when you report? And who is in charge of the accounting officers of parliament? Because as we speak today, in theory, it is Parliamentary Service Commission, but in practice, they report to no one. They are their bosses. That is why one of them earns 4 million Kenya shillings as a salary. More than the president. So, you go and do your research. So, who do you report to?
Yani una earn 4 million shillings and you still encourage corruption. That shows you how Vile Musa Maga, it's not about salary.
There's someone who earns 4 million more shillings than the president of Kenya. There is an individual, an office within government, not government, let's say a state office where there's a person who earns more than the president of Kenya.
Yeah.
You tell me if that is not the actual president of Kenya.
So, and who approved this Nini? Hii salary? Ama ni hao wenyewe kwa wenyewe?
Sasa hizo ndo maswali zinafaa kuanza because every year that comes there's that car increment. And that increment has never stopped. And you know it can't stop because also that office as it has been constitutionally set up, first of all it's supposed to be an office that you hold for 2 terms. The clerk of the Senate is on his 3rd term.
So ni kama ile ya Jinping.
And nobody, you see, that's the thing. Nobody questions. Nobody asks. Because even if you ask, utamshtaki kwa nani? Utashtaki speaker kwa nani? Utashtaki majority leader kwa nani?
Lakini
wakileta kapetu mpya you can challenge it in the high court, but who has money to go through those litigious things? Me, I have 3 cases now. All somehow are pointing to my Ninis in parliament. Honestly speaking.
Yes.
You understand? And those are cases that directly affect me. There has to be a way that we sit down and we say, there's a problem. The institution that is supposed to oversight the whole executive and all the government state agencies, that institution is being run like a free zone. Everything goes. There is no authority. May the best man win. Ule ako na kifua kuliko mwingine apite. Mwenye anaweza kutoa now you know it has gone down in history that the clerk of the Senate has officially managed to remove a nominated senator. He has bought himself the highest immunity you can ever buy within the precincts of parliament. The next crop of people that come will be told, unakumbuka Senator Orwoba? Clerk alidil na ye. They're actually increasing their power. Because who do you report corruption that happens in parliament to? Mtu akinyanyaswa parliament, kama sasa Joseph na James wametolewa, wameenda kotini, alafu ni nani tutaambia angalieni huyu mtu anatoa watu illegally? There's no one. Because the person who's supposed to be the chair of the commission, who's supposed to actually look into these matters, is too busy to deal with this and is too compromised by virtue of how the commission has been set up. Because it still needs the secretary of the commission. And the secretary of the commission is the clerk of the Senate. So, James and Joseph, me personally, I'm proud of you guys. I will speak about your story everywhere where I have to speak about your story. I feel like what we don't have many people who are speaking up for those when you are menyanyaswa. We have 300 plus members of parliament. We have 67 senators. Well, now we have 68 because I'm still a senator. But nobody. We have no one talking for people. There's a huge silence about the injustices that are happening, not only in parliament, but out here. Umenotice ni kama ma-MP wameenda. Like hausikiangi ma-MP wakiongea juu ya anything. Na wale wenye utasikia wakiongea kama wenye wametoka kuongea juu ya Kenya pipeline na nini, are the very few. And let me tell you, wanakipitia huko bunge. Thoroughly. It's not easy. In fact, they have been telling me they can't wait for 2027. Like akina my deskmate Murango, akina Nyutu, these were Munyoro guys, because they were friends, the senators, they are having it rough in Senate.
Why sasa? Ni your intimidation, fear. We've gone to the levels of death mechanisms. Okay. Damn.
Thank you for having me.
Pia asante jo. Unajua every time wakuja utu chanua jo hizi vitu, because me ungeniambia ati Bunge Towers there was that level of corruption, I would have told you no. najua if you told me that it's substandard bcause hiyo nini ya substandard ilitokea last year na ikienda chini ya maji kabisa so of course tukaisahau but for you to say that it's that level and after inflating that budget by all that money and the original budget of course was already inflated when you think about all those things I can actually see why TZ inatupita polepole we notice like their airport is better than ours
They're trying.
their public transport system is better than ours is because we over exaggerate everything like hakuna kitu
No,
tunaweza
the
fanya tu-
corruption levels are just insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
nao pia
insane.
hizo vitu zote walitutandika time ya Magufuli
mapadlock
because the lady is back to umecheki
And-
entourage ya the lady it's too much
And
Like
in the
she's-
future, what we need to demand is all these public institutions, their budgets and how they spend it. In fact, there should be a
Should be
website you
public.
just open and you can see how far, SHA wamefikaje na kuspend na kulipa watu wamelipana. It should just be public.
yes
Because that way you also gain back the public trust. People don't trust parliament because they don't know anything about parliament. And because it is designed that you don't know anything about parliament.
'Cause
I personally have
utakasirika.
had to really go and do a deep dive and be in parliament for me to know, yani huyu researcher akona this much power. Unaelewa? So
alafu hiyo example ya mugeni na murioki mushinaga nikikuot there's a luo proverb jakuodho oyedhao aliyenyamba amekubali vita it's the same thing like if I go into a building and I film it
yeah
like if the journalist film it if there's nothing wrong then there's nothing wrong the fact that you are
what was
punishing
the
the
fear?
watchman
You're punishing the watchman
means
for
there's
what
something
they-
you're hiding because otherwise if there's nothing wrong that's been done then there's nothing wrong inafaa kuwa tu unajua nini ile kitu mlifanya ni mbaya cause what if they kulikuwa na this security thing the security lakini wacha tuiachie hapo they came here
But
they
you see
found
first, hata waliekelewa ati hao ndio waliwafungulia which is not true. It's not true. Then wakaekelewa ati hao ndio hata walienda wakopiana nini. It's not true. All those things are not true. What they needed was they needed to punish someone so that everyone can be terrified
Yes.
of being involved. Which the same thing, they just needed to remove one nominated senator.
ndio wengine watulia
now yeah
Saizi
now
hadi
Senate
elected
is-
senators hawaizi inua kichwa. Elected.
'Cause unaweza
Na
shanga-
saizi clerk wa senate anatembea kwa hewa. It has gone down in history. Ebu jaribu kuni out uone venye nitakufanya kama Orwoba.
okay damn
So the message is home. Ndio maana kuna huge silence, voices that would ordinarily speak up about a lot of things.
in a house
Menyamaza.
in a house full of speakers
A house full of speakers, actually. Thank you. A house full of speakers. There's
There's
so much
silence.
silence. Silence on matters, silence on things. It's not about just there's a general. In fact, we are just hearing the united opposition voices only.
yes okay but mostly tukimalizia mwambega wa Kenya jo endeni huko nje fanya kazi Bunge Towers might be needing another 6 billion it would come from thin air it will come from your taxpayers money fanya kazi na tax kiongezwa wanasema yes sir sindio
Hapana, watu wachukue
Usicomplain.
kura.
Zi, unajua watu wachukua hizi vitu seriously.
Wajiregister, wachukue kura, not because it's fancy or trendy,
yes
but because at the right time in 2027,
yeah
that anger that most people have, I personally have so much anger.
yeah.
That anger, maybe I will exercise it at the ballot
also,
properly.
also if you are also a voter verify if you're still in the system
Yeah, verify also. Verify if you're still in the system. And guys are like, oh, your vote doesn't count, nini. Wacha nikuambie. Hiyo story ya kuiba nini. Sisi, our anger, we will exercise it by voting. Me personally, I'll also exercise it by being an agent of making sure ule mtu anafikiria atakuja kutuibia sijui ndo afanye. Mimi yani ni ule agent, niko loyal kwa sababu it's not even about like this is personal.
Yes,
the
yes.
people's agent
Mahali imefika this is personal.
alafu mwambia watu there's no more powerful motivational factor than hatred like
you do it with passion
hatred na anger awaga ni very motivational love unaweza
unaona
lala
venye jana Gachagua aliongea. I like something he said you know, I feel very responsible juu mi ndio nilingisha hao mafala hapa. Okay, hakusema mafala but I'm
yes
you know, paraphrasing.
tunaelewa.
Juu mi ndio nilingisha hao watu ndani, so I feel sorry because like when I think about it, it's like tulikuwa tunakoniwa but he said that's why I must be double on top of this thing to make sure tuwatoe.
Yes.
yake ni pia ni personal. Unajua ni ile level ya nikikaa hivi chini nifikiri venye niliwachungia kura nyinyi, I will make sure
anatoka na wazi.
Yeah, but you see, that's why also we can't do it alone. People must vote. People must go, and if guys don't go out and vote, let me tell you what's going to happen.
Mtashanga.
Nothing will change.
Yeah.
Munasikia 10 bila break.
Two-term. Yes,
10 bila
KVB.
break itafanyika. Yani mi nakwambia, just if anything, take us to a level where we will make sure that anyone who survives, anyone who's in this administration, if they survive to go to the next administration, let me tell you, the fear that you would have instilled in them will be enough to make sure that they represent the people properly.
Okay, I think hiyo ni tumalizia hapo cha. So imekuwa episode 531. Kama kawaida tukisema like, subscribe, hit the notification button, tell a friend. Tukimalizia tukisema eko nene.
Eko nene.
Eko nene.